Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Joy News today. We're coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We're on DTT because we're free to air on DSTV channel 125 and Go TV channel 124. We are a home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, National Democratic Congress national organizer escapes violent attacks from angry youth of Ebura Sebu-Kwama-Nkesi after allegedly going there to campaign against Felix Ofosu-Kwakye. But this afternoon, Joseph Yamin has been denying that report. We have details of that interview for you shortly. Also, this afternoon, National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission urges residents of the Volta region to cooperate with officials as reaffirmation of Ghana's land boundaries with Togo begins today. Details, we are told, of the three-week exercise which involves replacement of damaged boundary pillars. And family of suspected armed robber who died in police custody in Kuranza rejects outcome of police investigations 1 year on. Details shortly on Joy News today. We have business, sports, world news, and showbiz coming up shortly. Do stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. National Organizer of the Opposition NDC, Joseph Yamin, has dismissed claims by some youth of the NDC in Ebura Sebu-Kwama-Nkesi constituency in the Central Region. He entered the area under the cover of darkness using the name of John Mahama to campaign against former Deputy Communications Minister Felix Ofosu-Kwakye. According to reports, a pushback by an angry youth sent the NDC National Organizer running for his life. Felix Ofosu-Kwakye is coming up against a professor from the University of Ghana, Nanama Brown-Kluche, in the NDC parliamentary primaries in less than 2 weeks. Listen to some angry youth of the party.
What's in there? Young number come on yesterday. I was Joseph Mahimi was body. What the guy do what I pick up?
I am very angry this evening. We were in town when we heard that Joseph Yamin had come to town with some pickup. We even mobilized to go and meet him. We thought our party leaders were coming to meet us. When we went, we realized that one Nanama Nuche had sent Joseph Yamin to come and lie to us that John Mahama wants us to vote against Felix Ofosu-Kwakye. The things Felix Ofosu-Kwakye has done for us in this constituency, very valuable to us. They are very lucky we did not meet them here. They would have seen what would have happened to them.
She said,
the youth are very angry. For a leader like Yamin to behave like this is very irresponsible. What if something bad happened to them when they came? We don't want this to happen again. If he knows how to campaign, he should stay in Kumasi and campaign. We need more seats there. We are begging him. He should never repeat this. The youth in Mori are very angry and are ready to go all out for Felix Ofosu-Kwakye following the 2020 defeat. The party leaders must stamp the authority and deal with this issue.
Now, what you shall see me, Joseph Yamin, you go there when you for
Speaking to me earlier on News Desk, Mr. Yamin said he has never stepped foot in the Central Region to campaign for anyone. He describes the claims by the youth as very surprising.
The last time I entered Central Region was on the 4th of April. 4th of April, from the 2nd to the 4th of April, I was in the Central Region for official duty to go and vet potential aspirants for the parliamentary election. Since I left Central Region on the 4th of April, I've never been to Central Region 4. In fact, the whole of yesterday I was in Ashanti Region. As I speak now, I'm in Nyane, heading to the north. So I'm surprised hearing this kind of news. But I first heard it from your sister station, Adam. And I'm getting details of it from your network now, playing the voice just play. I'm surprised why they would want to such a thing. As far as I'm concerned, I've not even gone anywhere to campaign for any parliamentary aspirant, not to talk of using John Mohammed's name to campaign for a particular. So I don't know what really is influencing the acting, which is bad in the first place.
Still on the NDC, some concerned party members at Fomena in the Ashanti region have expressed shock and dissatisfaction over the suspension of the party's parliamentary primary for that constituency, and they want party leadership to come clear on reasons for putting the polls on hold to avert a demonstration.
3 people filed nominations to contest the Fomena NDC primary, including constituency chairman Eric Opoku, Charles Kofi Ogbe, and Christina Amaransen. The 3 were at the regional party office in Kumasi on May 1 for vetting, but were informed the vetting process had been put on hold. The concerned NDC members of Fomena say they suspect attempt to impose a candidate on the constituency.
Few days ago,
Spokesperson Mago Yo Yesuto says the constituents will resist any act that goes against an open contest in the constituency.
Even though Sir Charles and Amaramson go to the vetting venue before some aspirants from other constituencies, to their dismay, they were the last set of aspirants to be invited into the vetting room around 3 p.m. They were shocked to their bone marrows by the information given to them by the panelists of the vetting committee. They were also told that there was an additional PC aspirant from Fomena whose identity the vetting committee claimed was not known to them, making the total number of aspirants who filed in Fomena 3. Please, can you confirm to us that it is true you have done a survey in Fomena constituency and the result has led to a preferred candidate whom you think is the best to win the Fomena seats? If the answer is yes, then we respectfully encourage the said personality to test his popularity in the upcoming primaries by allowing others to contest him. Honorable Johnson Sidin Ketia, our indefatigable national chairman, respectfully, what is the identity of the alleged preferred ghost parliamentary candidates you want to impose on Fomena constituency? For which reason you are frustrating the electoral process in our constituency? And finally, we want to know when the vetting of Fomena parliamentary aspirants is going to take place. In conclusion, we are calling on the national executives of the party as a matter of urgency to take the necessary steps to resolve the ongoing disturbances in Fomena constituency. If really winning election 2024 is our priority, they must ensure that an open, transparent, free and fair contest takes place in Fomena.
Leadership of the party in the Ashanti region says the elections in some constituencies is on hold for strategic reasons. They want the aggrieved constituents to use party mechanisms to seek redress. A joint technical committee made up of officials from the Ghana Boundary Commission and the Land Boundary Commission of Togo is beginning a 3-week exercise today to identify and replace all damaged boundary pillars along the international boundary line between the two countries. Speaking at a joint Ghana-Togo community sensitization program at Agote Mekwetoi in the Volta region, National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, said the exercise is important to prevent disputes over land boundaries. He's urging residents to cooperate with a team that will be engaged in the reaffirmation exercise. Maxwell Agbagba has more.
Some students of the Agotimas Yope SHS singing at the sensitization program that brought together opinion and traditional leaders, residents living along the international boundary line between Ghana and Togo, government officials, school children, and more. The sensitization exercise aims to make residents living around the Agotimas Yope section of the Ghana-Togo international boundary line aware of the replacement of the boundary pillars by the Joint Land Boundary Reaffirmation Technical Committee from the 5th to the 27th May. Speaking at the program, the national coordinator of the Ghana Boundary Commission, Major General Yumano Kotia, urged residents to cooperate with the team for a successful exercise.
Technical committee, a joint technical committee between Ghana and Togo Boundary Commission is going to undertake this exercise from tomorrow, and this committee will be identifying all tempered, remove or destroyed boundary pillars within the demarcated line. Let me stress, within the demarcated line. We are not going to redemarcate the boundary. The old boundary stay, but we are going to identify the boundary pillars that are destroyed, that has been tempered, that has been removed. The aim is of the reaffirmation is to replace all tempered, destroyed, and removed boundary pillars. In addition to this, we've realized that most of the population along the border communities sometimes have a difficulty of identifying where the boundary line is. And for that matter, sometimes they stray without them knowing into the territory of another country or another state. And for that matter, we'll be discussing with our counterparts from Togo to introduce additional pillars, which will be called intermediary pillars, border crossing pillars, and monumental pillars along towns, so that it will be very easy for the population living along, or the communities living along the boundaries, to identify the boundary line and also to help us protect the boundary line. We would require, therefore, from traditional leaders, opinion leaders, to help us educate the population along the communities that, one, they'll be seeing a team going around these boundaries within the next 3 weeks. They should cooperate with them, they should give them the necessary support, they should give them the necessary information that they require, and that we are redefining the boundaries by reaffirming to replace boundary pillars, but that we are not redemarcating the boundary pillar, and that is a very important point.
He says the reaffirmation exercise will also help prevent disputes between the two countries.
The importance is clearly to make sure that there is no doubt so far as the international boundary line is concerned. Secondly, to ensure that the disputes don't arise out of minor disagreements on the boundary demarcations between the two countries.
Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources in charge of Lands and Forestry, Benito Usubio, says most of the boundary markings that define the land boundary between Ghana and Togo, among others, have been destroyed by environmental and human factors,
such as erosion, tampering, or outright removals. Effects of these have been the eruption of conflicts in many communities along the international boundary line. My dear chiefs and people, we are all one people with shared cultural and social beliefs and even family ties. These similarities are what should define us as a people and not the invincible boundaries created years back. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my profound gratitude to the Ghana Boundary Commission and the National Land Boundary Commission of Togo for the good work they are undertaking for their respective countries.
The Executive Director of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, COP Mameya Tiwa Adodankwa, has expressed the need for the business community to desist from concealing their financial returns as a means of staying away from paying their taxes to the state, a move she says affects the socio-economic development of the country. She made this call during a brief ceremony in Techiman to inaugurate the Bono East Regional Office of EOCO. Correspondent Anna Sabit has more.
Speaking at a brief but colorful ceremony to inaugurate the Bono East Regional Office of the Economic and Organized Crime Office in Techiman, Executive Director of the Office, Commissioner of Police Tiwa Adodankwa, emphasized that part of the mandate of EOCO is to ensure that taxes are paid to help generate revenue for the development of the country.
Carry the business community that we are obligated to pay our taxes, and let us all always remember that little dose of taxes makes a mighty nation. So the point is that other countries have made it because of taxes, and we should also do it. We shouldn't always be concealing things from the taxman, so that whatever that we have to pay that.
She noted that taxes are essential to the day-to-day running of the state, and as such, the business community should pay their taxes to enable the government provide the needed amenities to the people.
You should also remember that you as a businessman, you cannot construct your own road, you cannot build your own hospital, you cannot construct your own terminal or anything. It is the taxes that government gets. That is what they use. The government uses to provide all this kind of amenities for all of us. So we must ensure that we pay what we are obligated to pay, and we should not hide anything from the taxman, and we should all be good citizens of the nation.
Bono East Regional Director of IOCO, Bobone Tony, on his part, reiterated the need for a collective effort towards combating corruption as a means of ending the menace.
Nanache, it is when we get rid of corrupt elements among us that the society can progress and the country also prosper. Let us always be aware of the evil called corruption and do our best to support the IOCO office as an anti-corruption institution to combat corruption in this very region.
He also appealed to government to help provide the needed resources to the office to enable it combat suspected crimes within the area.
I wish to make a passionate appeal to the Executive Director of IOCO to resource the office with the needed logistics to facilitate the investigation of cases suspected financial crime in the region and liaise with appropriate agencies for possible prosecution.
The new office will also help officers of IOCO to be able to prevent and detect organized crimes, as well as facilitate the confiscation of the proceeds of crime as provided in the IOCO Act. Anna Sabit, Joy News, Tichima.
And today we're continuing with our conversation on artificial intelligence, which is taking over the world. Experts say though it has numerous benefits to businesses and industry, it also has huge risk. Tech consultant Spike Nkrumah, who has been explaining the importance of AI on education, has also encouraged AI developers to consider looking at how to avoid the invasion of the privacy of people. Away from artificial intelligence, Asantehene Otumfuo II is joining royalty from across the world for the coronation of King Charles III in the United Kingdom. Otumfuo and his spouse, Lady Julia, were received at the Buckingham Palace, where they had a private audience with the king ahead of the coronation. Monarchical historian Teacher Safo Kantanka says the events in the UK will solidify the relationship between the two kingdoms and the two countries. And Abuachi Adam has more.
The Asantehene departed Kumasi to the United Kingdom for the coronation of King Charles III on Wednesday. King Charles will be crowned alongside Camilla, Queen Consort, at a ceremony at Westminster Abbey conducted by the Archbishop of Canterbury. Royalty from around the world is expected to be in attendance, including the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II and his wife Lady Julia. Teacher Safo Kantanka, a cultural historian at the Menchia Palace, highlights the relationship between the Asante Kingdom and the United Kingdom.
So, in the first place, both are kingdoms, but the relationship has been something of bitter and sweet. Bitter in the days when the Ashantis were fighting seriously against the British. It is believed that they have fought the British for well over 100 years. That is when they were a kingdom of their own in Africa, before the Europeans settled for partitioning Africa. And at a time when the Europeans were trying to partition Africa and share it among themselves, there was one nation called the Asante Kingdom that never gave in. And they fought a number of wars with the British, in some cases even defeated the British. It is believed they fought the British 7 major wars was fought between the Ashantis and the British, of which the Ashantis won 3 and the British 4. Even the 4, the Ashantis believe that the last one, which was the Asantwa War, was still won by the Ashantis because the aim of the war was for the British to capture the golden stool, which they were unable to capture, although they defeated the Ashantis in the battle or in the war. But the very aim of the war went in favor of the Ashantis because the British never got the golden stool.
According to teacher Kantanka, the relationship between both kingdoms improved after several decades of war.
I think so, because when somebody has given you a tough time, even if you win, you tend to respect that person. So the respect given to the Ashantis, it's somehow due to the very tough time they give the British. Ashanti history has been woven into the British one, and vice versa. So you cannot mention the British Kingdom's history without Ashanti coming in. And you cannot mention Ashanti Kingdom's history without Britain coming in. So anytime they go back to their books, they are reminded that there is a nation which has been bounded to them for very many years, in which case every invitation they decide to give to people, they include the Ashanti people.
The Asantehine's representation at the coronation of King Charles is to solidify the bilateral relations of both kingdoms.
Whatever is going to take place there is taking place for the benefit of Ghana, led by the Ashanti king.
So finally, the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II and his spouse, Lady Julia, arrived at the Buckingham Palace. The Asantehene and his spouse had a private audience with the king ahead of his coronation. The Asantehene is expected to return in 2 weeks' time after further strengthening the bilateral relations of both kingdoms, i.e. the Ashanti Kingdom and the United Kingdom. For Joy News, my name is Nana Boache Dankwayadom.
And still in the Ashanti region, trading activities have spilled over to the premises of a Ejiso District Magistrate Court in the Ashanti region, forcing proceedings to be limited to family tribunal cases on market days. Occasional warnings from the court clerks for the traders to keep the noise level down have not helped much. The problem is worse on Thursdays as hundreds of traders inundate the premises to trade on the Ejiso market day. Love FM's Rasta Sasari Donko has more.
This building was built as a district magistrate court in 1950. Over 3 years ago, it used to still house the Ejiso District Magistrate Court. But look at this place. It's now turned into a marketplace. And so the court was forced to vacate this premises and move to the other end. So this is the current place of the Ejiso District Magistrate Court. A court of competent, I was going to say jurisdiction, but the jurisdiction is where the problem is. The court is now sharing a place with squatters, market women, selling all manner of different things. On a market day like today, the court has to suspend major cases and limit proceedings to family tribunal suits that are heard in chambers. Nana Sechi is party to a case in court today. He speaks of the effects of the noise on proceedings in court.
It's bad because you can't even, at times you can't concentrate. Like maybe there's a hearing, you've been called to give a witness or an information to the court, and then while speaking, the noise outside keeps interrupting, and then you can't give your point. The case must be paused for a while, say 5 minutes, 2 minutes, for them to warn the outsiders, the traders, for them to minimize the noise before proceedings can proceed. So it's very bad.
Though the traders are aware of the effects of their activities on the court, they refuse to leave. They used ropes to cordon off the court area, but the market women removed them and came back to trade. This is where we get money to feed our families and pay school fees. The police came here, scattered our things, and tried to evict us. We don't have anywhere to go. We know the court detests noise, but things are hard, so they should have mercy on us. They shouldn't drive us from here. Magistrates and officers of the court have no space to park their vehicles as commercial drivers take over the little space available. Ajiso Municipal Chief Executive Samuel Odro Frimpong tells Love News the Assembly has plans of fencing the court.
Luckily, the Omaihene Nanafa Nyokese has given us a plot of land awaiting the approval from the Ministry of Local Government. Once the approval is given, the plan is to have a new market. But you know that will take time. We want to ensure that at least we'll be able to ward off the traders, to at least give a gap between them and then the court premise, so that on Thursdays the court can operate.
And in this week's edition of Climate Focus, Joy News' Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin visited 2 settlements in the Savannah region to hear the struggles of some women engaged in share nut gathering, and reports poor weather conditions are affecting their cultivation. They're now having to cut down their share trees. Here's the concluding part of that report.
I have 6 children and I take care of them by producing charcoal. This contributes to meeting our most basic needs. Except for the charcoal production and firewood, I don't have any work. We used to handpick share, but the trees no longer produce fruit.
Salia Attica is a resident who also helps her grandmother sell firewood.
It is wrong to cut down trees because they protect us from the wind. We are, however, compelled to cut them due to hardship. It's been years since the trees haven't produced enough fruit, and some are dying. The only work we do as women is gather share nuts and sell them. But because they are no longer bearing fruit, we cut them and use the money to support our families.
Here is Hajia Alima Sagito Said, Executive Director of the Savannah Women Integrated Development Agency.
During the share season, you can get women picking on average up to 385 kg bag of share nuts. Some can pick more income. Currently, a bag in the open market is sold for 600. That's 85 kg. If averagely a woman is able to pick 3 bags, then you are looking at a woman that would have been earning extra 1,800 cedis from the share. And this goes to so much for the woman, because a lot of women who are into farming practically are hardly able to save up 1,800.
According to Hajia Said, share is cocoa or gold for women of the north, employing about 1 million people. The loss of this natural tree will be a grave injustice to women.
It's also our gold mine. That's our cocoa. The industry employs about 1 million women. And in this industry, all these women see that business as complementary income for their households. Not relying and working on the share means that you would have been denying these 1 million people livelihoods. You would have been denying people education.
You're watching us live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We are on channel 125 on DSTV and 124 on Go TV, and we are also on DTT. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll be bringing you all about business.
Hi, good afternoon. Warm welcome to the business segment on Joy News today with me, Pius Kojo Baka. Now, government is targeting 10% penetration of renewable energy into Ghana's electricity mix by 2030 through the implementation of its renewable energy master plan. But the country's shift to greener and cleaner energy mix is bereft of women and youth inclusivity at the leadership and policy implementation levels. 350 Ghana Reducing Our Carbon, a non-profit environmental youth network, is leading the charge to educate women who are major users of household energy on the adoption of renewable energy. There is more in this report.
It is estimated that nearly 30% of households live in energy poverty, with the majority of the affected families situated in developing countries. These impacts restrict access to education and economic opportunities for girls and women, and disproportionately exposing them to health risks. Ghana is yet to harness its available natural resources for energy production, as many households resort to traditional and environmentally harmful energy sources. The country's renewable energy use is nearly 2%. Ashanti Regional Coordinator of 350 Ghana Reducing Our Carbon, John Ijekum Kofo, believes early exposure of women could accelerate Ghana's 10% renewable energy penetration target.
So 350 is actually working hand in hand with the community, the schools, the churches, and then even traditional leaders to educate and sensitize the people in the community, to sensitize women groups on the need for them to adopt and transit to solar energy, and then also to actually get a full benefit of their adaptation into renewable energy.
The consequences of the changing climate adversely impact the global south, especially in Africa. According to the United Nations Environment, 80% of people displaced by climate change are women. National Coordinator of 350 Ghana Reducing Our Carbon, Portia Edumensa, says climate action is a must for all.
As country members or as fellow citizens, it's important for us to be able to be part of these conversations and help in achieving that. A lot of factors have been put in place in achieving this, and I think that as advocates we are also having our take in taking it to the grassroots for them to also be part of the climate solutions, because it's all about the issues related to loss and damage. We need to understand what it is and how it's impacting us.
Government in 2019 established the Climate Change Learning Program to accelerate youth empowerment for climate change mitigation and solutions. Head of STEM education in the Ashanti region, Adams Youssef, reiterated the essentialities of integrating climate-based learning into school curriculum.
Currently, one of the most topical issues around is climate change. So at their age, if we are able to introduce them to the effect of climate change, then I think it will make an impact on them. And then the measures taken to curb or reduce it will start from them, because they are the future leaders.
Some students shared benefits of the program.
So I think that as students, it's very good for us to get to know more about climate change, because as students, we are the future. We are the ones going to represent the entire world.
So if we are educated and we grow up to come and take up their place, we will know the need to do it right. And we have to start from now, because I mean, when you practice makes perfect. So when you start from childhood and you grow up, you become perfect with managing everything related to climate.
For Joy News, Emmanuel Kweku reporting.
Now, the Pensions Regulatory Authority, NPRA, says it is working to secure a decent future for workers after retirement. Bono Regional Manager William Ohene says the authority will prosecute institutions that continue to default in the payment of workers' pension contributions. He issued the warning when he led a task force to visit some institutions in Sunyani. Precious Semevo has more.
The NPRA task force to check payment of Senate and Tier 2 contributions of workers in Sunyain as part of the Workers' Day celebrations included Senate officials and some pension trustees. Penal Glory International School, like J. Adom Limited, showed receipt of up-to-date payment of all pension contributions of their workers. Muhammad Mubarak Ampofo is the financial controller of the construction company, J. Adom Limited.
We know our road construction, because of delay in payment, we were having issues of paying the Tier 2. I spoke to my boss and we decided to pay up to date the amount we are owing from 2019 up to the current year, the current month, so that anyone who is attaining the retirement age can get their lump sum or their benefit from the Senate.
The team, however, detected that the Tier 2 payments in particular are in default at Baksod, Kasbi International School, Pribet Shopping Mall, Glamose Hotel, McChill Educational Complex, and Goel Filling Station near the Jubilee Park in Sunyain, whose manager Joe Bennett angrily drove off because the team did not pre-inform him of their visit. William Ohinie J is the Bono manager of the NPRA.
You have employed people here. They are working for you, you are getting profits. Just pay their contribution for them too is a problem. Anytime we come here, you give excuses. Just give you, insult you and go away just like that. You saw it yourself. Don't be surprised when by next month you'll be prosecuted. This is not the first time. If he's not fighting for them, we will fight for the employees. This is Goyle, that same Goyle that was closed some time ago. Issues with NPA. It's having issues with NPRA too. So you can see the kind of person he is.
He said they will prosecute the defaulters after the window to correct the wrongs to secure a decent future for the workers.
The reason why we went out is to ascertain their pension contributions and to also appreciate them very well and to let people, the institutions that we have not visited, be aware that in fact we are moving henceforth from every institution. So if you are not contributing, you better start contributing. We met some people who knew or who knows that indeed they have defaulted and are ready to comply. We have given them up to the 14th day of the month. That's enrollment should be done and payment should be done as well. If they don't comply, we are going to prosecute them, as we indicated. The lists will be sent by close of this month.
Mr. J also urged workers to help them fight for their future.
If you are in an organization where your employer is not willing to contribute, just come to NPRA, just give us a clue. We will go there as we went today. We didn't give them any prior notice. So we have the right to check, make sure they comply.
Precious Semevo, Joy Business, Sunyain.
And that's it for business for now. I am Pius Kojo Baka. My colleague Darrell Kwa will be here at 1 p.m. with the Marketplace. Sports is next.
Sports on Joy News today. Former Kumasi Asante Kotoko striker Eric Kwabena-Bekwin says that the standard of the club has fallen. According to him, Kumasi Asante Kotoko used to be a club that competed for laurels in the country, but since the appointment of this current management of the team, standards have fallen.
Sometimes it's not coaches that fail. Sometimes it depends on how coaches are being treated in the club or brought into the club. Because one, I'm the one to prepare tuozafi, and you go and bring stew ingredients for me to prepare. How do I prepare? It's the same way you bring somebody in the middle of a season and you want him to do magic. It will take godly intervention. You understand? So how many, let's say, coaches that are come to Kotoko that have done their own recruitment? So always we'll keep on changing coaches, we'll keep on changing coaches. And you see, life is all about consistency. How do you keep the consistency? It will be within the players. Because if every season this player will go, this player will come, and then even the strikers or the players in Kotoko now, most of them don't know the club that they are playing. If it was this easy, trust me, we will have played it easy without stress. Because even the jersey that you are wearing, the Asante Kotoko jersey, the pressure that it carries. Not to talk about when you are coming out of the tunnel. So if I'm playing Kotoko,
there's pressure.
There's so much pressure. There's so much pressure. This is a club where a mere fan can fast for the team. He can even sacrifice with his own blood for the team to win. This is the team we are talking about. So if our time we were being pressured to play, and today you guys, you were playing something before they brought you on board, and you are not doing the same thing why they brought you. Mbella came, he just came and walked over and left. Meanwhile, there were strikers in the country who were scoring Kotoko week in, week out. And now they've given you the opportunity to come and play. Are you blaming the coach? And at the level that they are playing now, you don't need a coach to come and show you how to carry the ball, because these are all fundamentals. So you get to Kotoko, instead of coaches will be teaching system and formation, now that you are going to learn how to control and pass. So you see, that's what I'm saying, that the foundation is weak.
Foundation weak. Commissioner Bekui there speaking to us on Prime Take. The full interview will be airing on Sunday at 9 p.m. But let's talk about the All-Star Festival game that will be happening in Sunyani. It is the second edition of the competition put together by BAC Group, chaired by its Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Ernest Cranton. He says that the decision to move the second edition of the All-Star Festival game to Sunyani is because it is an area that has produced more players for the Black Stars more than any other region.
The community loves football so much that it's like a second clothes they wear. There are 18 clubs that play in the Premier League. 4 of them are from the Bronga Hafo. And out of the top 4 teams, 3 of them are from Bronga Hafo. It doesn't look like we're excited about this one. Yeah. So the media is busy talking about other things. And we're here, and we'll be interested in how Barcelona, this trip will beat their 47th to Real Madrid, and when they beat them, and we have our own narrative. The top 3 longest 7 captains of the Black Stars have all come from this region. No rivals. From Kwesi Osu, Kwesi Apia, and Asamoah, all from Bronga Hafo. Okay, and you know, between 57, what we're doing ourselves, between 57 and now, every year we have had a player from Bronga Hafo play in the Black Stars team. That's a massive thing. Massive. No region, standard. No region. So these are the things we are here to celebrate. An occasion must trigger some celebration, and we believe the occasion to bring these international stars to Bronga.
That's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com and also at 2 p.m. when my colleague Natana Ato comes your way with sports today. And then game plan on Joy 99.7 FM at 1:15.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News today. Now, the British High Commissioner to Ghana says the coronation of King Charles III and Queen Camilla will reflect culture and the arts. In an interview with Aisha Ibrahim to throw more light on the historic event, Harriet Thompson revealed that a choir from Ghana will feature on the Commonwealth Virtual Choir.
The ceremony itself will take place on Saturday, as you say. There'll be a huge procession. Troops from the Commonwealth will be taking part. I believe Ghana is part of that as well. And then, as you can imagine, it's an enormous gathering of some of the heads and states of government, the royal families from across the world, there to wish King Charles III and Queen Camilla well at the ceremony. So that will take place in the morning. There will be a coronation concert on the Sunday night, which just goes to show the King's love of all things cultural. As part of that, there'll be a virtual Commonwealth choir, and again, a choir from Ghana will be taking part, including one of our own colleagues from British High Commission in Accra. And then Monday is about volunteering and community, which are 2 issues that are very close to King Charles' heart. So people from across the UK will be encouraged to get out and do something good for their community.
And as I wrap up the bulletin this afternoon, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. Log on to myjoyonline.com. There's more of the news and updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.